Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Going Old School Retro Discussions. Now, sometimes on Retro Discussions, we talk about toys and we talk about old franchises like cartoons and video games and everything else. But sometimes we also like to discuss things that happened in the past that are always not quite as pleasant. Today's going to be one of those days. I'm going to have a topic today that it's hitting back on something that actually means a lot to me because it was one of the reasons that I started playing the bass guitar. So joining us today, before we even get started with that topic, is the man, the myth, the legend, Steeg Kenobi. What's going on, Steeg?
Hi, nothing much. Just, wide awake still. And, happy to be on your channel again.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It's always great to have that Norway representation on the Guinea Pig Collective channel.
Yeah, it's actually quite the minority because there's only like 5 million of us. So... yeah.
So I know we were talking in the back and you said you don't have a whole lot of firsthand knowledge on there. What's going on, Ensign Ricky? What's going on? Wookiee Supremacy. What's up, buddy? What's going on? I seen Shadowhawk was in here earlier. Hey, you guys, make sure you share that link for me. And I don't know what YouTube's doing, but they are playing a whole lot of games with me. So I know we were talking in the back, and you weren't very familiar with Metallica.
No, I like the band, but I don't know that much about them.
Okay.
I have a few songs that I keep playing over and over again, because I like them. But it's, I'm a casual fan at best. But I do like rock and roll and metal. That's my my thing. But I don't know, for some reason I never got into Metallica that much. I was more into AC/DC and Iron Maiden and Manowar.
Okay. Okay. Well, Metallica was one of those bands. It's like a lot of other bands that were out there at the time. It's something that I kind of grew up on. It was Suicidal Tendencies, it was Slayer, it was Metallica, and of course, Megadeth, and all those type of bands like that when I was growing up. But Metallica was like the first one that really made, I would say, a commercial success out of a heavy metal band. They really were the first one. So,
yeah,
I think,
and actually, did you see they're doing like a Metallica tribute now? Elton John and Miley Cyrus are doing a cover of "Nothing Else Matters." I saw an interview with the band the other day, and they did a little live performance with Metallica playing "Nothing Else Matters," and Miley Cyrus was singing. It was actually damn good.
What's going on?
Wow,
Ricky.
What's going on? So Manowar, you like Manowar, huh? I've seen Manowar.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love Manowar.
Hail and Kill.
Oh, fucking great song, man. And 80s metal, dude. It's hard to beat 80s metal. It really is. Like the mid 80s to like the mid 90s, that whole era right there. You can even like in the early 90s when the production value went up, because you can tell
there's a lot of bands that are still copying their formulas today. Real quick, Tina Bojan, what's going on? Thank you for coming. LDG of Geeks, enjoy what's going on, buddy. And Soul Assassin, Big Four: Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. Yeah, you know what? And
the only one I don't like out of those is Anthrax.
I liked the early Anthrax, and yes. I liked all their stuff all the way up to just past I Am the Man. After that, it felt like it started falling off for me.
Same. I don't know. And it's same with, after Metallica Black, how they went through that whole phase of we don't have to cater to anyone anymore. Our fans are playing metal anymore. And then they start coming out with shit like King Nothing and Load and Reload and all this other shit. I give it to Megadeth. Megadeth and actually Slayer have stayed pretty true to the formula, even till now. So, a lot of them...
You can say the same about Manowar.
Yeah, Manowar stayed true to the formula too. I've seen them twice. They were fucking loud.
Yeah, they're in the Guinness Book of Records.
Wow,
for having the loudest live concert.
Yeah,
and the longest.
Yeah,
actually.
I've seen them in Indiana and I've seen them in New York, and loud, very loud. And his voice, dude. I love Eric Adams' voice, dude. That dude sings so phenomenally. Very underrated.
I tell you what, there was a lot of those bands that I wish I'd gotten a chance to see. Some of them I did see later on going to like the Ozfest shows, because the Ozfest shows, they'd have that huge conglomeration of all these different bands.
Awesome.
And when I was younger, I never had the chance to see Slayer live, but I seen them at Ozfest. I also seen Pantera at Ozfest, you know, of course, after Dimebag Darrell, but that is what it is.
Pantera 2 or 3 times. Dimebag died.
I was supposed to see Iron Maiden, but Iron Maiden did something. They pissed Sharon off and they got kicked off. And Suicidal Tendencies was supposed to be at the show I was at, but unfortunately, that was another one. Band. I don't know if they ran afoul of Sharon or if they just ran out of time allotted to Ozfest and they were moved off. I don't know what that was, but that was the other 2 bands I always wanted to see. I never had a chance to see them, and boy, did it piss me off when they were scheduled to be at Ozfest and then they weren't. I was agitated. What's going on? Darius Munchausen and Snow Dub and the Cotton Connection, the Warped Tour.
I have a little story for you about Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Ozfest is amazing. I mean, I remember like back in the day, we used to get like a pack of like Lucky Strikes or Camel Non-Filter, and we take all the cigarettes out and roll joints and put them in there instead so we can get through the door and just go sit on the thing. But yeah, I mean, you saw all sorts of combinations at Ozfest. I went to 3 or 4 Ozfests, and I saw so many bands just in those 4 shows. You know, some of the same. You know, but I mean, I've gotten to see like so many good bands go through Ozfest. Good times.
A friend of mine went to a Maiden concert in Trondheim, which is further north from where I live, a city in Norway. And he was drunk all night, messaging me on Facebook, you know, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to see Maiden live and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, he got drunker and drunker. And then during the night at about 3 or 3:30 in the morning, I got another message from him because he was at a pub. And it had a picture. Him and the Maiden band at the pub drinking. Bruce Dickinson wasn't there, though, but the others were. So he was just sitting there with beer and a couple of the band members, and he's like, the best night ever, right?
Right, dude. I mean, I've the only ones I've really had, like, I mean, Guar. I've partied with Guar like that a couple times. And,
man,
I mean,
such a shame when that singer died.
I was so pissed when Dave died, and I seen him right before Dave died too, which you know, I'm glad I did. But
Wookie has a question for everybody. Did anybody see Lollapalooza?
I've only went to one.
I don't know what it is.
1984. I seen Soundgarden there. Worst set I've ever seen in my live. They were horrible, but I seen Soundgarden later, and they were great. But just that set of '94, dude, they were not with it that day. But it was
what up, phone?
It was. I'm trying to think of what that, because Metallica headlined. The mystery band was Cheap Trick. We got to see Rancid, the Ramones before Joey Ramone died, and I'm trying to think who else was there. A bunch of smaller bands. Soundgarden was one of the headliners, but yeah, Soundgarden is probably the worst performance I've seen in a live band ever. And I was so pissed because I was like, this is one of the bands I really wanted to fucking see, you know, Soundgarden. And when I seen them about 2 years after that, the show was amazing. It was like right after like Super Unknown, or that one just hit the shelves. But yeah, I mean,
hello, Sherry.
Sherry.
I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Welcome. And the CJH, what's going on, CJH? I want to get back into more of this discussion, but first I want to talk about the reason I wanted to run today's stream about Metallica, Jane's Addiction. Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to run it, because today was the day that one of the people that was very instrumental to me picking up a bass guitar passed away. So Metallica were on top of the metal world in 1986, and they just signed their first major label deal, releasing their commercial breakthrough album. But the band's year ended with a crushing blow after bassist Cliff Burton died in a bus accident while touring overseas. Now, the group had cemented their position as the kings of thrash metal with the release of Master of Puppets, their third overall LP and first for a major record label with Elektra Records. The record heavily featured Burton's signature playing style, which expanded the bass from a traditional role as an anchor rhythmic element and into melodic territory usually reserved for the lead guitar. It became Metallica's first gold album, eventually selling more than 6 million copies, and the group toured extensively to promote it all over the world, including extensive dates in Europe. Those concerts would prove to be Burton's last with Metallica. Now, on the night of September 26, 1986, Metallica were traveling between tour dates in Sweden when Burton and guitarist Kirk Hammett drew cards to decide who would get to choose the top bunk. The bassist drew the ace of spades and chose the bunk Hammett had been occupying. So Hammett, he said, fine, take my bunk. The guitarist had recalled, and he'd said this on like a VH1's Behind the Music. I'll sleep up front. It'd probably be better. So in the early mornings of September 27, 1986, shortly before 7 a.m., the band members were awakened abruptly when the bus began to careen from side to side. The driver later told authorities that he lost control of the bus after hitting a patch of black ice. The bus left the road and flipped over on its side, and Burton, who had been asleep in the preferred top bunk, was thrown through the window as the bus came down and it landed on top of the 24-year-old musician. So this was one of those things.
Driver, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever found at fault for it because it was black ice, but it was one of those things that it shook the metal world down to its foundations when Cliff died.
Absolutely. I'd say the second one was when Dimebag got shot on stage. And I seen Damage playing like a couple weeks before that. And when we heard, I was at my friend's studio. He was recording his band. His band got an awesome studio in Chicago. And we were out there in the kitchen and shit. And then we started hearing it come on the news because, the internet wasn't really fucking huge. Barely hear shit on it. So, I mean, we have to listen to the radio, and we're like, there's no way this is fucking true. And then found out, yeah, it was fucking true. I was like, wow. We were all just fucking shook at the studio. We're like, oh my God. Insane.
Hey, Godzillionaire, what's going on? Candy Cane, hello there and welcome. I see Jens is in the chat. He should be joining us. RR, what's going on? Yep, rest in peace, Cliff Burton.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you though, seriously though, he was one of the major influences for me to pick up the bass. The other one was actually the bass player for Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Nice.
There was something about the way that guy played, that guy grooved like nobody else. And
yeah, a lot of people put down a bassist like Sublime's bassist. Sublime's bassist.
Yeah, he is really good too.
He's all over it, like melodic, everything. He's really good, but he's just in the back. He doesn't get much attention. But if you actually sit there and listen to his bass lines, dude's dope.
Oh yeah, I've played a few of his bass lines. They're actually pretty tricky to play. Soul Assassin Wes has a story saying Dave Mustaine had a vision of a bus crashing and heard. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, me and Dave Mustaine have the same birthday.
Yeah, CJH. Yeah, that's pretty scary, especially when they say buses are supposed to be one of the safest ways of travel, but I guess anything is possible. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much.
Look what happened. I mean, they say train is safer than traveling than cars, and then that Amtrak just derailed and killed 3 people.
Yep. I'm not creative. What's going on? Iron Man, smash the like button. If YouTube takes away your like, come back and smash it again. Yeah, I know we've been still having that problem with YouTube taking away like. They actually took a whole bunch of my views away on my last live stream. So, wow. Yeah. Thanks for that, YouTube. Suck it. Why don't you?
Did you guys see that bus accident in, I think it was Nigeria last year? The bus went off a bridge.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
20 people died, and
20 people
none from drowning, and the crocodiles got them.
Yeah, crazy, dude. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
But I mean, that's the shit like it because like a lot of I have to dig for some stories like those because it's like you don't get literally just American news in America, so you have to actually search for other shit. Very rarely is it they say something happens across like when Germany flooded, since that was more like a catastrophe. That's that got world attention, as opposed to most stuff that will just stay local.
So I want to ask you this. I know, Stieg, you're not well versed with the band, but I want to ask Ensign Ricky, and I want to pose this question to everybody in the chat. How much different do you think Metallica's sound would have been if Cliff hadn't passed away so prematurely?
I think it would have been good up to, because I like Robert too. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't get Robert till way later. So I mean, but Cliff was imaginative, and he was partly classically, had the classical training thing going on for him, and he was like the Randy Rhoads of bass, more or less, at that time. And he's, you're not the only person that dude inspired to pick up a fucking bass and play. You know what I'm saying? But at the time where, anything but the lead singer or maybe the lead guitarist was kind of like in the spotlight, he did bring the spotlight to bass, and then eventually down the line, we got people like Les Claypool and Victor Wooten and all these other guys to just jam it out. But I mean, I think
that's a funny one too, because Les had actually tried out for Metallica.
Yeah.
He didn't really want the gig, I don't think, but he was actually turned down because they said he was too good for them.
Well, they were, but there was, I forgot what he played. He said he played an Isley Brothers tune or something. And then Metallica was just like, you're good, but no. But yeah, I think it would have changed the sound completely. I think it might even been different today because I don't know. I mean, the last few albums, I mean, the production's been iffy. But then you watch stuff like Some Kind of Monster where they had the shrink following them around. They were paying that shrink like $50,000 a day or some ridiculous fucking amount of money for him to watch Lars yell at James. I mean, I don't know. But I think they're, as far as like the most common name metal band, they won. You know what I'm saying? They definitely won the game. So I mean, they're usually the ones that most people will refer to when they're talking about metal. Even though now, compared to all the other metal, they're kind of like metal light or metal classic rock, I guess. I don't know. But
their sound has definitely changed throughout the years. I mean, I think, like you're saying with Cliff's classical background, but that was the thing about Cliff is like, unlike a lot of bass players at the time who were tied down to just say the metal type sound, he was extremely diverse in the way he played.
Absolutely. And so I'm a huge Grateful Dead fan too. And Phil Lesh was 100% classically trained. They didn't even know what instrument they were going to put him on. He was just like, I'll take the bass. And like he fucking gets into it too, 100% classical trained. So the melodies comes up are insane, and but it's all different type of music, But
well, before we get off the Metallica subject, I got a little clip I want to play. You can unmute and we can talk over top of it, but it's some of the highlights of Cliff playing, and I actually played a few of the bass lines. Unfortunately, I'm doing it off an acoustic bass that's all kinds of jacked up, so it comes off a little twangy in spots. But I mean, I want to play this as a tribute to Cliff Burton before we move on.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, here we go. That was an interesting song. That one was actually by an older band called Diamondback. I don't know if you remember that one. Am I Evil?
This is the best right here. Love this song.
And it was interesting. It was actually one of the last things that Cliff was working on because they found his notes and they gave it to oh Jesus, why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah, I play this on piano all the time now.
Yeah, but it was technically the last song that Cliff ever wrote. It's kind of chilling when you think about it because the name of the song is called "To Live Is to Die." So.
This is a great song too. This was his remembrance song. Yeah, man. Fucking A. Yeah, when a man lies, what was it? When a man lies, he murders some part of the world. That's like, oh,
These are the pale deaths which men call their lives.
yeah.
That was amazing.
That was just to have that in the end of that song. I mean, it's awesome. And then I guess they didn't play it live for years and years, and then they played it. I don't know, like 5 or so years ago, on a set. I guess in remembrance of him. So I mean, but I got to look up to see when they did it. But for years and years, they didn't play that song live. And so
they had that. Oh Jesus, it was on Injustice for All.
Yeah, that's the one. To live is that. Is it to live is to die, right?
Yeah, to live is to die.
Yeah, to live is to die. And then the fucking banger after that song, dude. I mean, it goes straight to that song. You're like, dear mother, dear.
Yo, Mad Mardigan, what's going on, Mad Mardigan? 2nd Street Marvel Trinity, what's up, bro? Yo, man, I'm glad that you could even just stop by for a minute. We're talking about that old metal stuff, man. I know you know about that.
Another band I like that's really underrated, Sacred Reich. I fucking love Sacred Reich. Loved everything Sacred Reich did, and they kind of got big for a little bit, and then but they didn't get much attention other. But now they put on a hiatus for like 20 years, and now they're back. So I guess they're back now writing albums and shit. But it was like politically charged. It was very good stuff, man, and a lot of good, messages and everything else. And I'm surprised they didn't get as more popular as they did. And then I'm a huge King Diamond, Merciful Fate fan. I love King Diamond. As one of my favorite guitarists ever, Sandy LaRock, and that dude. I could. There's some of his solos, dude, that I know so much of his shit. But all classically trained. All King Diamond's guitarists, and even on the Merciful Fate side, they're all classically trained. So I mean, it's really, really good music, and I've seen King Diamond live multiple different times. Typo Negative. Got to meet Typo Negative quite a few times. I love Typo. But I mean, that's my love. Guar was probably my big one, though. I sing Guar more than any other band, probably like 15 times or something. And I got to party with Sexecutioner, and I got to party with fucking the lead, Techno Destructo, the slave. He was cool. But the fucking Sexecutioner story is awesome. Like I went to a loft party in Chicago, and he's got a loft there, and I didn't know. And my friends, they're all road tripping. You know what I'm saying? He's like they were like deciding who's going to be babysitter and which two of us were going to trip. So they won, and so they're tripping. I have to take them to this loft party and basically be babysitter all night to these kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this is gonna fucking suck. I gotta watch these idiots. They're gonna be in all sorts of shit, And then I'm like, get to the party, and I smoke a bowl, and I look over in the kitchen, and I see this older dude with like his Guar shirt on. I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to this fucking dude, right? like no one at the party looks like this guy, right? So I go up to him, and I'm like, dude, I fucking love Guar. I've seen Guar like 15 times. Blah blah blah. I grew up.
The stage performances they used to do were outrageous at the time. Oh yeah, you know what, Wookie, you were absolutely right. Not Diamondback, Diamondhead.
Diamondhead.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, Diamondhead. But so I mean, the dude's like, I'm Sexecutioner. I'm like, so I'm sitting there smoking a bowl with Sexecutioner, and they had a full studio, like kind of guitar setup over in the loft. This place was huge, dude. They had like hammocks hanging from the ceiling and shit. And he's like, yeah, dude, I own the loft next door, and he was working on this project called The Art of Guar. So he took me over there, dude. And fucking first we went over to the studio place, and I played Sexecutioner song because I know it. He fucking sang it. I'm like, this is fucking awesome, dude. I get to play Sexecutioner with Sexecutioner at some random party in the middle of fucking Chicago.
Executioner.
Yo, oh great, love
Stone Cold Jeremy, what up? Stone Cold Jeremy and Captain Trek. Hey, what's Captain going Trek, on? And Night Sen, what is going on? Thank you. Ministry was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know a dude who was in Ministry before they turned industrial.
I'm actually working on a remake of the song. It's basically a parody, but it's going to be for the guinea pigs. So it's going to be, instead of a New World Order, it's going to be Pig World Order.
Right. Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam and Jetsam, another great band.
That's where God, I'm still blanking on his name. The bass player. That's where he came from. To play with Metallica.
Yeah, Robert Trujillo. Yeah. But,
no. Robert Trujillo came from
South Tennessee. Really?
Yeah,
the one who played.
Yeah, the one who played on Injustice for All after Cliff died.
Jason Newsted. Oh yeah, Jason Newsted.
Yeah, he was
from Jetsam. Yeah.
Yes.
They kicked him out though, and then he came back, and they kicked him out again.
Yeah.
So I mean, but they're an Arizona-based band, and so is Sacred Reich. And one of our friends had a jam spot next to theirs, and we listened to them all the time. But Flotsam and Jetsam, I mean, they're like straight thrash metal. I mean, like when you say thrash metal, I don't consider Metallica really thrash
Well,
metal.
you know what? Early Metallica,
yeah,
early Metallica could have been.
Lightning is kind of thrashy, but they kind of slowed down and they went to more structured songs as time went on. And but I consider more like Slayer thrash, or old Anthrax thrash, or even Old Testament thrash. I don't know.
Yeah, Second Stream Marvel said he only got to see Typo once. I got to see Typo twice.
Same here, twice.
And the both times was Halloween. It was at the Trocadero in Philly, and the one year they were doing the Living Dead outfits, so they all look like zombies on stage. And I'd say probably midway through the performance, like all the latex and shit is peeling off. As they're on stage.
I see them in Arizona in like the early 90s, right before they were just about to get big. And they came off the stage and said hi to everybody. And Peter Steele had this like beatnik cap on, huge dude. I got to meet everybody except for Josh Silver, the keyboardist. And they came down, and at the time, the rumor was going around that Peter Steele had uprooted like porcelain fangs to like make his teeth look, and it was a huge thing. Like that, everybody was like, "Oh, this dude, look at his fangs, bro. He put in fangs." So I asked him, you know what I'm saying? I was like, so I'm sitting there talking to Peter Steele, and there's fucking this Mexican dude, right? This dude like doesn't even speak a lick of English. He's sitting next to me. He was just there at the show, and he's just like, "Oh, this guy must be important." So I'm standing next to him, and so I talked to Peter Steele. I was like, "Dude, so is it true that like people are saying that?" And he's like, no, don't believe that shit. He's like, see this tooth right here? He's like, well, it got chipped in a bar fight, and like a guy came at me with a hammer. I'm like, wow. I mean, I wonder if you just murdered that guy that came in through a hammer. But yeah, I hit Peter Steele in a bar fight and chipped his tooth. I didn't know that. And then the Mexican dude, he turns around, and the dude's like, my name is Juan, and he's like, my name is Peter. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, Soul Assassin, I see 90s brat, so my metal was new metal and whatever MTV was playing in the early 2000s. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate by then, like MTV really wasn't MTV anymore.
Yeah, and they kind of lost it.
Second Stream Marvel says DRI.
Yeah, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, man. It's a great band. That is a fucking great band. And
apparently Wookiee Supremacy does not think highly of Jason Newsted.
I don't think highly of Jason Newsted. He got kicked out of Flotsam and Jetsam to go to Metallica, then got kicked out of Metallica to go back to Flotsam and Jetsam, then kicked out of Flotsam and Jetsam again. So if that gives you an idea of how many people, what people think of Jason Newsted. And then he started his own band. And then I don't know what happened after that.
He kind of disappeared into mediocrity after that.
Kind of like, with Chris Novoselic in Nirvana. He went off and started his own band, and it was popular for a bit, and then everybody just fell off. Everybody's like, oh, Foo Fighters.
Hey, Jens, what's going on, Jens?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, take it. Yeah. Yeah, talk about Metallica. Yeah, I was more of a Guns N' well at the time. I like Metallica and that, but I was more of a Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, and Nirvana sort of. But
all great bands.
Yeah. Well, I was mainly into like 60s, 70s sort of and rock and that, and like 50s rock and that, and all types of music. But I was brought up in the like 80s and 90s, and brought up in the 80s and that, but living the life in the 90s because But Metallica, Enter Sandman though, that was like because the Master of Puppet album was a bit too heavy for me, even though now I can appreciate it a bit more because
it's a little more raw back then because it's like you can tell now it's like Kirk went from or James Hetfield went from like yeah to like yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just it took singing ever since Jane got those singing lessons. I was downhill for Metallica, I think. And but I mean, like, I think the movement of music really started changing around like the hip hop type shit when Korn came out. Like when Korn and Limp Bizkit, when those bands were starting to hit the scene, that's when everybody was like, maybe we should, swap shit. And then you had the Judgment soundtrack, Judgment Night soundtrack, which is still one of the best soundtracks of all time. Where you had Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill, and you had there was a Limp Bizkit and Onyx or something out from the collaborations. That's when the collaborations.
Yeah, but Metallica did do that film wanted where the sort of like would basically say, yeah, look, we want to get a bit more mainstream and that, and make loads of money, and we don't care now, sort of thing. Yeah, we've lived this sort of like underground sort of scene. Now we want to live, and yeah, I forget what the film's called, but it has them sort of like just talking about stuff and that. But the thing is good though, the Rio album, Live in Rio, that because they do a very good version of Seek and Destroy that goes on for like about 12 minutes or 11 minutes. And yeah, it's like the Seek and Destroy, like
That Bardigan.
Hey.
What's up, man? Yeah, Second Street Marvel. Yeah, Biohazard Onyx. I mean,
It's Biohazard. I was saying, yeah. But with Limp Bizkit and someone else, they did Bring the Noise, right? Or who came with them and Bring the Noise?
Well, I thought that was Anthrax.
Oh, Anthrax was bringing. Was it? Was
Yeah. Turn it up, bring the noise. I thought that was Anthrax.
I thought that was Third Base.
Roland. Was it Roland? Was that the one?
Damn it, Mads.
What? Third Base. Pop goes the weasel.
God damn it. God damn it. Yep, there it is right there. Anthrax and Public
There's a Public Enemy. There you go. That's what it was.
Well, you know who else got to team up with a band that he actually said on a few of his rap albums that he really liked was Ice-T. Ice-T got to team up with Slayer.
Wow.
I forget which album was, but he says sometimes I bump hip hop and other times Slayer. And then when they did this
punk album,
huh?
Was it part of their punk album?
What's that?
The Ice-T collaboration with Slayer, was it part of their punk
No,
album?
that was part of the Judgment Night.
Judgment Night, okay. So the same thing, because I remember because they after that Slayer, because I mean Ice-T has done a lot of collabs with a lot of metal bands just because of body count, and I thought he did another one. Another interesting one I'd seen was Jay-Z and Fish.
All right, Second Street Marvel says that Limp Bizkit teamed up with Method Man and Redman.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah,
Yes.
it's still awesome. I remember the Lost Highway soundtrack. The first time I heard Rammstein.
I remember
yeah,
Mission
right.
Impossible 2, the John Woo one with Limp Bizkit doing the Mission Impossible theme.
Oh yeah. Now I fucking totally forgot about that shit.
No, everyone did.
He's like everyone.
Yeah.
Probably.
What's going on, Luffy is God? Luffy is God said Metallica was cool all the way up to when they dropped the Black Album. Went from being a band that didn't do music videos to making one for every fucking song on the album. Yeah, you know what? I'm not to say there were still some good songs on the Black Album, but for the most part, I didn't enjoy it from cover to cover, as they would say. I did. Like, if you listen to, you even listen to Injustice for All, there was a few on there that weren't as strong as the rest of the songs, but you could still listen to it from front to back.
Absolutely. 100% from front to back. I mean, it starts off great with Blackened and then ends with fucking, Dear Mother, Dear Father with the Dyer's Eve. I mean, the shit gets crazy. I mean, the whole album's like a masterpiece. 100%.
Look,
I don't feel that way for the Black Album.
Real quick, show some respect, man. New Kids on the Block was legit. They were hanging tough. They had the right stuff.
Damn it, man. God damn it, man.
In the middle of an Oreo.
Yeah, Ice-T and Body Count. Yeah. Ice-T actually got Body Count started.
Yeah, that was they still play.
Let's see. I think I'm a little younger than y'all, but my first cassette was Digital Underground.
Wow. I can't remember my first cassette was metal. Probably.
Ice Cube and Korn. Yes.
Some of those collaborations were awesome. You know what I'm saying? That kind of started a whole new thing in that era.
Well, so I was lucky because I got a lot of different music because my stepdad was black. So like I had Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style. I had Tony. I had Zap. And,
Tony.
Yeah, I had Zap and Curtis Mayfield.
There you go. That's some fucking classic shit right there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Trinity. Absolutely. The changes started with Justice.
I'm your pusher. Yeah, I like pushing.
You know what? Really, if you want to get technical, the changes started at the end of Master of Puppets because as soon as Cliff died, that's when everything just took a turn.
I have to agree there. But I mean, like in the early 90s, like right there in the early 90s period, music production took a huge step huge step from where it was before. I mean, you can listen to the difference between Symphony of Destruction and Hangar 18, or you can listen to the difference between even the Black Album versus Injustice for All, or any of those bands. Cowboys from Hell, it's a vulgar display of power. Like the production of music went up like 100%. Like that shit was in your face at that time. So I mean,
I got into rock a little bit later, like when I was 11. But it was like Silverchair and
Silverchair.
Yeah,
I still play there. I cover that shit all the time.
Oasis, man, Oasis was better than what people gave. Like you have those two songs that everyone knows, but there's some other deeper cuts on their albums that are really good.
Oasis is a great band, and they suffered from the. Oh, go ahead.
Oasis is only good because they copied the Beatles. There was like a Beatles four-man band, and my favorite is Cigarettes and Alcohol, and that's when they ripped off T-Rex. But I still like the song.
They came out and did the same thing that Cheap Trick did. When Cheap Trick came out and said, "Hey, we're better than the Beatles," Cheap Trick fell. Oasis came out and pretty much said the same thing. We're like the Beatles, and they kind of like fell off. I don't know.
Well, there's something there's a little bit of an interesting conversation that got started in here. So, Second Street Marvel says my first cassette was either Billy Idol or Motley Crue. I'm Not Creative 22 says his first album was the Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune, and Wookiee Supremacy says my first cassette I bought on my own was Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
I think mine was King Diamond, them or
King
Abigail.
Diamond?
Yeah, King Diamond, them or Abigail.
Steve, what was yours?
Not sure. It might have been. It might have been an AC/DC one.
AC/DC, that's solid.
That's respectful.
AC/DC one from the mid something from the mid '80s, I guess. AC/DC.
Okay. Jens, hold on, Matt. What was your first album that you got?
Well, on tape, it would have been Breakdance 2 Electric Boogaloo, because it would be 1985 sort of thing. I was about 10 or whatever, and because it was real expensive though, and usually we'd just tape stuff off the radio. You'd get a blank cassette and then you just tape stuff off the radio. But
so we had to do back in the day.
Yeah, it was one of them where if in 1985 or it was 1985. It would have been if you had the Breakdance 2 album on cassette with a Ghetto Blaster, you was sort of the dog's bollocks. So,
the Ghetto Blaster. Remember the Ghetto Blasters?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I had one that you could remove the speakers, and so you could have surround sound, even though it was only surround stereo sound. But
on the first three CDs I bought were I had America Must Be Destroyed by Guar, Primus, Pork Soda, and Spin Doctors Pocket Full of Kryptonite. I bought them all at the same time. That weird ass fucking shit I listened to.
So Matt, what was your first album?
Well, my first cassette was Digital Underground, but I wanted to name drop real quick. So I used to play Xbox. I used to play Ghost Recon Future Soldier with Zach Starkey, who toured with Oasis.
Nice.
In the 90s. He's also Ringo Starr's son. He drums for the Who, I think now. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah. He used to play because he had a cocaine habit, believe it or not. That's what he would do to try to
Girl starts taking drugs. I don't believe you.
No, for real. He told me he was like, yeah, cocaine. I love it. Yeah, but though he had some crazy stories about those brothers, man, when they were on tour. Apparently they did not care for each other. I don't know if y'all knew this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whoever said the Beatles is the most underrated band underneath, I 100% agree with you.
Overrated. I agree as well.
Overrated. Overrated.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Their best song, that Come Together song or whatever, it's ruined. The first, the real dark, slow build up, that's the best part of the song, and then they ruin it within their own damn song.
I mean, I like some of the writing stuff
exactly.
From a musical standpoint. Some of the writing techniques and the things that they used were revolutionary at the time. But I mean, it was they weren't the only ones doing it.
Yeah, but
hey, awesome one, what's going on?
is they had good musicians because all three were very good musicians. And at that time, you was looking to have one good musician in the band, never mind having three.
The whiners. Wookie.
You're my whiny wall.
I actually like some. I like a couple of John Lennon's like solo things, man.
He's electric. Just all electric.
George Harrison. Fighting.
Yeah, going back to the Gallagher's brothers, yeah, right. There was a famous sort of concert sort of thing where it was done in an Albert Hall, I think it was. It's like a hall concert, so it's not massive around. But one of the like arguments flared up between them. So Liam, which is the singer,
Yeah, I know the story.
yeah, went up in the balconies and started heckling Noel, who was because like he tried to like sing the songs and that and he's got and so in the end Noel shouted up something on the lines of stop fucking mouthing off and fucking get down here and start singing instead of mouthing off. But then that's when they split up and they went did what was it, Blackbirds or something that was called.
What the fuck, dude? I agreed with you. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wookie's all over you tonight.
Right? Oh, dude.
All
Listen,
right, Trinity, be well. Thank you for coming by.
Man, I posted my episode 2 of Magic with Mad, which is on my channel now. I posted it, and within a minute, he is commenting on it, talking about like I swallowed it, and then he ruined it by sharing some clip of some dude that's like a hyper active like version of me with bad magic, but like doing stand up with it, and it's so bad it like killed my desire to ever do magic again.
Yeah, Tommy Cooper. Was it a British dude with a fez on?
Yeah, Luffy. That's or Luffy. Yeah, that's absolutely. Mark Knopfler is an amazing guitarist.
Probably
Phenomenal.
My favorite
Phenomenal
artist,
finger
actually.
picking style with a pick, without a pick. That dude is phenomenal. All of Money for Nothing, that's finger picked. And a lot of people don't understand that too. They think it's picked with a pick. That dude finger picks. And then you should see Mark Knopfler because Chet Atkins was his hero. And he finally got to you can find it on YouTube where Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins meet, and you can tell, and they're just going back and forth, just ripping shit, dude. It's amazing. Amazing.
I kind of wonder where music is going because we just don't see that kind of creativity really anymore. I mean, every once in a while, you're going to get a band that comes out of nowhere and they play like one of these older bands and they've got chops and they're writing really amazing songs. But for the most part, you're not seeing it. And you're definitely not seeing bands that can actually write from end to end a full album that's good all the way through. Because you know what? Like some of those some of those older bands though, like you even take bands going back like Rolling Stones, like you can listen to their albums almost from end to end. Metallica, like a lot of their early stuff, like all the way through. Megadeth,
Zeppelin album,
the Presidents of the United States of America.
Like one of my first cassettes that I ever got was by the Dead Kennedys, "Bedtime for Democracy." I could listen to both sides of that tape from end to end and not be bored with it.
Anti-Flag as well, man. They had a couple of really great albums that you could just
like. I'm a huge Fugazi fan too. I love Fugazi.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the super punk thing that they threw together, and all the Fugazi tapes are great. Then Fugazi, ironically, has about the same tape trading collection as the Grateful Dead. Fugazi recorded everything they ever played, even practices.
There was a real low-key band called Boy Sets Fire. They were kind of like Anti-Flag, but a little bit different. But their drummer was excellent too. They had a couple of really good albums when they first came out. In fact, I actually wrote them an email when I was in Iraq or whatever, and it didn't get to me until I was at the hospital at BAMC in Fort Sam, but they actually sent me their album and responded. It was like real cool. You know what I mean? Their new album that hadn't been released yet. So yeah, they're always going to be one of my favorites.
I'll raise you one though. Alita Ford.
There you go. Love the.
Oh, are we talking about women already?
Yeah, but she's an awesome woman, though.
It's the clothes.
Well, you know what, Mads, according to Soul Assassin, we can agree that Mads is not a metal. You're not a hot, genre metal singer, female singer. At that, I mean, unless I'm reading this incorrectly, because he says, "Can we all agree?" Well, except for Mads, that the metal genre has some hot female singers. So I think he's saying that you're not a hot female.
I'm
singer.
not a hot female singer. Well, that's just rude.
No, I think he's saying that Matt doesn't think there's any hot female singers. Which Sam Fox, touch me, I want to feel your body. Yeah,
I'm just a girl. Yeah, I got you. No doubt, right?
Yeah.
That was rock.
Proper 80s.
What's going on, Citizen 333? He thinks something is Fugazi, and I think it might be you, Mad. I'm not sure.
What is happening with the Fugazi?
It seems to be a theme. Like people are going after you.
For what? For having good taste?
What did you do to my chat?
I don't know who the fuck that last one was. I mean, I can't knock him for having instincts.
Yeah, Dire Straits was kind of like our cure for the '80s of that type of music.
Oh God,
Oliver's solo stuff is amazing too.
Oh, everything that guy is such an amazing guitar player.
Hey, awesome one. If you're lying, I'm going to be upset because I want that drawing. It better be a real thing.
Yeah, Phil Collins too. Whoever put Phil Collins, Genesis. That was
Hey, I liked "Uninvited" by Alanis Morissette, man, off that City of Angels soundtrack. Which, by the way, is another thing we can talk about. Is how like movie soundtracks are garbage now, except for like James Gunn. But now it's kind of become a thing. You know what I mean? But like, there was a long period where just soundtracks just sucked. When back in the day,
well, I mean, like in movies, like when we were young, like Big Trouble in Little China, they actually had their own theme songs. Like their own soundtrack had their own theme songs. Like
John Carpenter, he composed all his own music for all of his movies.
Big Trouble, Little China. So I mean, but then it just stopped doing that, and they started using more contemporary music.
Yeah, there's nothing catchy about new soundtracks anymore. I mean, just take
Well, I mean, there's nothing catchy about albums.
Indiana Jones, Rambo, they all had like themes, which was
because everybody's just releasing songs now. So I mean, it's like the album concept is almost over. Like no one really gets an album anymore. They just buy or listen to just the songs they want.
Yeah,
and it's so bland too. It's like it's made in a lab, which it probably is.
I think the '90s was probably the last good era where you can listen to an album from front to back. Maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, unless you went European, because metal and stuff is still going strong in Europe, but it doesn't seem to be that way in the US, at least not mainstream anyway.
I'm sure there's not a lot of neo folk fans, but the Head and the Heart, a couple of their albums, it was good front to back. Joe Bonamassa, a fantastic blues player, just amazing guitarist. He has some really great albums as well.
Wookie is throwing out some serious hate for
He's dropping the bombshell.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Wookie. That was done ironically. Like the whole concept of the song in of itself is ironic, and it was made that way. She wasn't dumb and thought, yeah, that's an ironic thing, right? It rains on your wedding day. No. The whole song is ironic.
Are you high?
It's like this is where the numbers start flying by you, of like the equations.
Yeah, but it's a real thing. But by the way, that song there is all that soundtrack was amazing.
What's ironic? What would be ironic is instead of saying wedding rain on the wedding day, would be some gays getting married on a wedding day, because now that's ironic, and it's ironic to God. But don't use that one.
Right, but the whole song is
a black fly.
You're really trying to hammer this point home, Mads, and it just doesn't appear that it's working.
I don't think people are understanding what I'm saying.
Follow the check a little.
You get laid to that song because, like, I got laid to the time of my life, you know. And so, like, even though it's like, it's one of them songs where it's like, yeah, but I like it. I like it because it reminds me of that time I was getting laid. Is that
minor D.
What's up, JJ? Yeah, so Stone Cold.
horizontal.
Stone Cold. Typically, I'll back Mad Morgan on Justin's channel, but I'm going to stand with Wookiee on this.
With what? What did he even fucking say?
Your taste in music is ironic.
Dude, my Spotify's confused. I listen to so much different shit. It doesn't. I have like 5 mixes daily.
Now that's the one I want to.
There you go.
Yeah. No ironic about that, apart from.
And then there was Tiffany.
Yeah. Well, she was before Tiffany. She was Tiffany with tits.
Right.
Yeah. And then what was her name? Big boys.
So we have Paula Abdul, Madonna.
I'm like a comedy ninja, JJ.
Lisa.
I don't try to get everybody to laugh. Just one person is all I need. I think it's more of an accomplishment if I can just make one person laugh rather than everyone.
And just in case anybody didn't know, yesterday was it yesterday, JJ, or was it actually, or is it actually Tuesday?
It's tomorrow. Happy birthday,
tomorrow.
JJ.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's Tuesday
JJ.
because he said he was going to be on Chris Knight's channel. Yeah, so
it's Tuesday in Norway, so happy birthday, JJ.
One of my fellow Florida brothers.
Yeah, you're another one too. That's right. There's a bunch of us.
Me, LDG, JJ, number one sci-fi. There's a lot of us, like Stephen Walton. A lot of us live down here now.
And possibly some other members of Rogue Entertainment are considering to move to Florida now as well.
I would doubt it. Not bad.
You know what? Nice end. I don't care what anybody says. Guns N' Roses is not metal. Forget their hair bands.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't know this was a debate.
It's actually what we call poodle rock.
Great white snake. Mr. Big.
Yeah, because of the hair.
Oh yeah. White snake crying in the rain. I got you.
What rat?
Oh, yeah. Come around, go around. We are the youth, go on. Buckethead, dude. I love Buckethead. He's awesome. He was good in Guns N' Roses too. I think he was a little too good for the band, but still.
Yeah, there's so many things I miss about some of those bands. Like when I talk about some of those other bands, like Suicidal Tendencies, some of their early stuff was like amazing because it was kind of like that. It was an infusion between punk rock and metal. Yeah,
it was a good combination too. It wasn't just. I mean, it was like one of the better ones out there by far. You know.
And then, when's the last time you've really seen anything really, really innovative? I mean, because you could try to say Korn and Limp Bizkit and bands like that, but guess what? It was already done. They were already piggybacking off of bands like Anthrax,
Beastie Boys,
and the Beastie Boys. Yeah, well, the Beastie Boys started up. There was another one. They started off as a punk band, and then they became a rap band.
So did Offspring. Offspring started off as a metal band and became an alternative.
I still say that the song Sabotage can be used for any trailer for any movie ever.
Oh, for real though. That dude was a genius behind the turntable.
I used it for the Passion of Christ. It worked. I used it for Lincoln. It worked. Sabotage works for everything.
Oh God, what were some of the other bands that were out at the time? There was LA Guns. There was Dangerous Toys.
Oh, LA Guns, yeah. L7. Remember L7?
Yeah, they were all part of that same category with Guns N' Roses. Darius thinks that they were called sleaze rock. I'm Not Creative says glam metal.
Kind of the same thing. Hair metal, glam metal.
I like skinny pop pop.
And then you look at Pantera, power metal, right?
Have you guys heard Ailstorm?
Oh, Ailstorm's great. They're one of the newer bands I like.
Pirate metal.
Yeah, it's literally just pirate metal. I mean, that's.
I'm sorry. Are we saying pirate metal?
Yeah, pirate metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ailstorm is definitely.
Wait, hold on. Is it like R to the R to the R?
Oh yes. Yes.
That and more.
With,
It's
like,
everything you would
thrash metal.
imagine pirate metal would be.
That was a Kid Rock like ba did a ba. I forget how the song
Ba
went,
with
but
the
it was
ba.
gonna be it was gonna be a great joke if I could have pulled it off. But you get the concept of it, and that's enough.
Like R to the R.
I'm not sure, Soul Assassin. I think I might have caught that once.
Right? You know the music
But
videos.
I usually have so little time anymore, especially since like I screwed my back up again the other day. So I unfortunately JJ was running his he was going to run his birthday stream early yesterday, and I was going to stop by, and I literally couldn't even sit up off the couch. I was in such freaking pain. So unfortunately, I don't get a chance to get by everybody's channel and see everything they're doing, but I do try to check out new people, especially if somebody suggests it. So,
what do y'all stand on 311? I guess I'm looking through some
Alternative
now.
more, but 311's a great band.
Yeah, Grassroots was a great album.
All of 311, even old Incubus is phenomenal.
Oh man, I was a big Incubus fan too.
Like their older stuff is, I mean, it's so different from.
I also like the certain shade of green. They have the original version, like it's all heavy, and then they have like the lounge version too.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
Both of them are perfect.
They're fucking good.
Yeah,
they're good. You know what I'm saying?
Foo Fighters, they didn't come out until the mid '90s.
Mid '90s, because Cobain died in '94. So I mean,
and I definitely wouldn't call Skid Row was another one. They came out in that was the very late end of the '80s.
Yeah,
early '90s. I wouldn't call them metal either.
They're more like I said. They're more of the hair movement when that hair movement was big. You know and all the bands went through it. They all did their hair like that. It was just the thing to do. It's just some of them played more hair metal type of commercialist type music than shit that really mattered. You know, I mean, Metallica didn't sing about like the shit that fucking Whitesnake or Great White sings about. You know what I'm saying? They think, they sing about what they sing about. You know, it's different. Same with Slayer. Slayer is like, pick a award history or a serial killer. We'll write about that. Okay.
They actually did some stuff. The same thing Suicidal did is they started talking about the televangelist too. And every time they talked about televangelists, especially everything that was going on with Jimmy, Tammy Faye Baker and all that type of crap, that always cracked me up every time somebody did a song. Bruce Lombardo at Dick's Division, welcome. He says, I had a great time with you Friday-ish. Tommy, thanks for stopping by. You are so welcome, my friend. But
Overkill was another one.
Mm-hmm.
Overkill was Overkill was one of the only bands that would play with Manowar, and because the bands were friends. And Overkill had an album. They did one long song, and they put a piece of the song on every album, so you can actually listen to the track as the album came out. It was awesome.
I gotta read this one.
Cinderella.
Anyone who has ever banged their head to Cinderella has a worthless opinion of metal and should be ridiculed and mocked.
Hey, they ain't gonna take it. They're not gonna take it.
No, that was
that's Twisted Sister. Yeah.
No, that was Quiet Riot.
No, it's Twisted Sister.
Yeah, you're right.
That's Twisted Sister. That's Dee Snider.
Quiet Riot was Bang Your Head.
What's up, JJ?
Hey, JJ.
What's up? What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
What up?
Morgan, I ain't seen you in a while. How you? Oh, that's tomorrow, but thank you.
I'm doing good, brother.
How you doing? Good.
Doing good.
Steve. Where else could we find you at? But we're hanging out with the guinea pig, of course. Ricky, hope everything's all right over there. Y'all ain't drowned too bad.
No, we're good.
Cool. I know y'all's coast have been getting fucking hammered.
Yeah, I mean the kids go back to school, so now it's slow time. So it's a lot more chill.
Are you on your break?
Yeah, pretty much as our off season just started.
Cool. You need a rest.
Yeah.
Oh man, that reminds me. I saw Night Ranger or whatever. That reminded me. I need to find that song from Lone Rangers from Airheads. I haven't heard that song in so long. Remember Airheads, the movie?
Yeah, Airheads.
Quiet Riot. There you go.
Yeah, it had Brandon Fraser in it, right?
Yeah. The band Lone Rangers had a great song.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta stop. We gotta stop for 1 second. I need Mad Mardigan. We gotta test your skill here, buddy. Citizen 333 has a question for you. Who'd win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Well, I mean, as an ordained minister, I'm gonna go with Lemmy because I'm not sure of his power.
Wrong, because Lemmy is
Oh.
God.
Oh, was that the test?
See? Trick question. Lemmy is God. You failed.
Oh.
You was
man.
talking about
You
Aaron,
failed.
no?
Yeah. Wait, Tommy, I'm busy. I'm looking at something, but did you want to explain to the people in the chat that may not know who Lemmy is? So that maybe they could be.
It's 42 flavors of Nick Weiser.
Oh wow. You gonna do Nick like that, really?
You're gonna tell me he doesn't look like Lemmy with them damn handlebars?
A little bit.
I'm to
We're talking about handlebars. Mr. CCDV's got that on lock.
Oh my God! Holy shit! Wow, lately.
He's got the handlebars on lock.
Yeah, the movie Airheads. Yeah, it's such a great movie.
But no, I hear you guys were talking about music and talking about basically metal.
Yeah, we're in the metal discussion.
Back in '68, there was a little band. I don't know if you guys mentioned it or not. Little band fronted by Ozzy. You know, fuck.
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Thank you. The name was escaping me again. I keep wanting to say fucking. Well, hell, that band
I know that
escaped me too.
You know what? If you would have said Black Label Society, I would have had to give you that special 2-second outro.
Well, hey, I actually like Black Label Society.
No.
Some
I can't
I
stand
like
them.
some of
I seen them play live 3 times at Ozfest, and all 3 times they stunk the place up.
Well, it's live, man. A lot of times their studio stuff is better than live, and that's the same way with any band or performer. Their studio stuff is usually a lot better.
Yeah,
It depends.
ELO. Yeah, ELO is one of them bands that can practically get the book. Talk about Exodus. I like them.
I'm not saying all bands. I'm saying most.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah.
performers.
But by the way, I wasn't quoting the movie. All I said was their band was called Lone Rangers, and I remember that song they had. I got to look it up because it was a good song.
Lone Rangers.
But you
That's all I
mentioned the
said.
movie. You mentioned the movie,
sorry.
and you got one of the big quotes from the movie wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't. What do you mean? I got a quote wrong? I didn't know I was supposed to be quoting the movie. I don't know who Lemmy is. I haven't seen that movie in 20 years.
That
I've seen it
explains
once,
it. Then.
that was
That
enough.
explains it.
I've seen
Chat
the movie
will fit
once.
you
So
in
it was
disbelief.
enough.
Yeah, same here, Bone. Same here. I seen them at Ozfest. And
Yeah,
you know
it's the only
what?
time I've
They
seen them.
sounded damn good too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that I only seen them at Ozfest. I've never seen Black Sabbath outside of Ozfest.
So I think when we're talking live music, I think what differentiates it a lot is just like a personality to it. If you like Chris Cornell when he covered Billie Jean, the live version he did is so much better than the studio version, in my opinion. And the same thing for oh man, what's that blues Texas blues guy? Oh man,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No. Black guy, newer guy. I have to look him up. He has some good stuff. But one of his songs is so much better live. And Chris Cornell when he covered I Will Always Love You as well when Whitney Houston died when she passed away. That dude fucking
Well, because I mean, Chris Cornell will go down as one of the greatest singers of this century. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's up there with Freddie Mercury. He's up there. You know what I'm saying? He will be remembered because that dude's voice was phenomenal. And he had all the technique and he had the passion. And it's hard.
Now remind me, because like I said, my memory is a little fuzzy. Cornell is the other front man, the Alice in Chains, right?
No, that's
No.
Soundgarden. He's Soundgarden.
Soundgarden and Audio Slave.
Okay, yeah, because I always get Cornell confused with
That one song by Temple of the Dog.
what's his name? He was basically Lane's right-hand man.
Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, Cantrell.
Yeah.
Cantrell, yeah.
Yeah.
I always get them two mixed up.
Guitar player, and he also did vocals and backup.
Yeah, they
vocals.
did both vocals. Now it's the new guy's good too. I've seen him live with the new guy. He's not bad, and at least he can stand up and play guitar. And he plays guitar rather well, which probably helps Cantrell out a lot. But I mean, when I seen Alice in Chains with Lane, they basically had to shovel his ass on stage and put a microphone in his hand and be like, "Here you go, Lane, get up, sing." he was so fucked up towards the end.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, watching where Alice in Chains went, you kind of figured that was going to happen.
They're the best band out of the 90s, 100%. That's my favorite band out of the 90s.
Oh yeah. They're one of
Yeah.
my top.
I can see why
Alice
y'all
in
would say that.
Chains, STP. Even Pearl Jam. I know a lot of people don't consider that metal. That's more grungish, but a lot of great music from the 90s. But like I said, Black Sabbath, man, they're the ones that started the shit off, man. I was listening to them last night, hanging out with my roommates, and it's just like, damn, it's hard to believe that metal existed back in the late 60s in that caliber.
I started listening to Black Sabbath because I finished with my woman because she couldn't help me with my life. People think
Well,
I'm
you're already an old
I
folk,
am rolling all the time.
By the way, 10 is another album
Yes.
that's great track to track, man.
Yes. And that was my first introduction to grunge, rockish metal because I was an 80s kid, man. I loved all the pop, the rap, all that bullshit. I was a bass head. And I still love that stuff, but now I gravitate more towards the rock and metal music. But I'm still not a fan of a lot of it. But then again, I'm still learning a lot of it too. I know songs. I know some bands. Don't ask me who sings what, who fronts where. But yeah, a lot of great times. I got almost 1,000 songs on a playlist. Most of them metal. It's just driving music to me. I hear the beat. I hear the grind. Got to go. That's about it. I don't mean to come in and start, bum rushing the conversation. I don't even know what the fuck y'all were talking about besides music.
Well, no, I started off the show because today's actually the day that Cliff Burton died from Metallica, so that's why we wound up going into music today. Luffiest God, best band from grunge is Soundgarden. I agree Soundgarden was a great band at the time, but they were not grunge. They actually considered themselves alternative, which, everybody was creating their own labels for their version of metal music. So,
I mean, does it matter what they say about themselves? Like, I consider myself funny, but listen to some of the people in the chat, like, Wookiee, they may tell you something different.
Well, no. If you want to take grunge for what it is, grunge had a little bit more of a laid back sound. When you think of grunge, you think of bands like Nirvana. You think of bands. Oh God, why am I blanking on some of the other bands? But there was a few bands they had the little bit. No, Soundgarden was a very heavy sound.
Soundgarden was
Early
a
on,
little
they were very
experimental.
heavy.
They were like a progressive. I would consider them like a progressive alternative band, to be honest. I mean, because some of their songs, I mean, even if you look at like shit like Outshined or Rusty Cage. Like that shit is just fucking out there, dude. I mean, it hits hard, you know what I'm saying? But it's not your normal, what Pearl Jam 10 was, or our STP.
What's up, Castle? Well, one of the things that I used to do when I was a kid is we used to go down to the local record store because they used to have those record stores all over the place back in the 80s. And you can get a lot of those albums dirt cheap compared to what you were getting them in the malls and everywhere else that you could go pick them up. And what I would do is I would cruise some of the albums that were a little bit less known. So I would be picking up things like Venom, and like that one song from Venom, Buried Alive. The first time I ever heard it, it blew me away because that was so dark and it was so creepy. I was like, man, this is the shit right here. And then there was other bands like Possessed, and there was a bunch of just like hardcore, what they call death metal bands.
It was like
I
black
used to
metal.
love picking up those
more
albums.
Black metal than death metal, but when King Diamond and Merciful Fate and all those bands came out. But I mean, the Venom was great. And the big two were like Merciful Fate and Venom. And Merciful Fate kind of like early 80s, way early 80s, sometimes even late 70s, Merciful Fate kind of formed. And that's when King Diamond was in Merciful Fate, and then eventually did the solo career. But those were great albums, man. I mean, it's hard to find even shit like that today, because it's like the originality is kind of gone. So everybody's kind of like pushing this technique-based like music now, such as like polyphony, and where it's like, now where they beat the guitar in this fucking angle and you know what I'm saying, hit this harmonic and play just little sweet harmonics.
Yeah, it's overcomplicated. I liked Warren Cherry Pie. and I like the video. It was one of them where
come
I
on,
played the video.
come on, Jens.
Word.
Are you high?
Yo. We're talking about some serious music here. You
I'm
want
the
Oh,
one
baby,
to
to see
be
things
with you.
Because if you
No,
want to talk
I'm
warm,
saying-
man,
You
I-
feel it too.
That's Mr.
You
Mr.
talk-
That's Mr. Misty. That
no. That right there. Wait a minute, what Ricky was singing sound like fucking Nelson.
No, it's
No,
Mr.
it's
Big.
Mr.
Almost the
Mr.
same thing.
no,
That was
it
Mr. Mister.
It was Mr. Big.
Oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah,
Okay.
not
Oh.
Mr. Mr. is a whole nother band. Yeah.
we're talking. What's it? What is it?
Hold on,
Contagious,
Mr.
Contagious, right?
No, you
No,
want
it's
to talk
not-
Warrant, man. Uncle
Warrant
Tom's
is like
Cabin
some
is
old ass
far
shit, yeah.
better.
That's like
Yeah,
Mad
Soul
Scat.
Assassin. Soul Assassin makes he makes a good point right there for like a
Headbangers
lot of
Ball.
people early on. Headbangers Ball. I mean, there was that was how I found out about Testament. That was another band from back in the day. That
Ricky Rackman,
amazing
man.
stuff.
Headbangers.
What's the one that did the
Ball.
Toxic
Hell yeah.
Waltz? Exodus
Exodus.
and the Toxic Waltz. I mean,
Yeah.
all those. I actually seen one of the Headbanger Balls tour, and Exodus was there, Anthrax was there. I forget who else was there. I think Halloween was there. I didn't really like Halloween though.
I'm
There
Ricky
was something
Rackman,
about
and this
that.
is Headbangers Ball.
So I like the first part of this. I like the first part of that comment. But the second, we've only talked about one like one type of music. My taste is just all over the place. I mean, oh man, past few years I'm really into folk, like Towns Van Zandt and like Blaze. I mean, and then neo folk as well, like the Head and the Heart.
Yeah, cool. That's like
Some
neo
of those.
folk.
Yeah. And a lot of blues as well, man. Like Gary Clark Jr., Joe Bonamassa, and then if you want to go back, old.
Joey's awesome. Good, great player.
But
What's going on,
I think
Curtis?
I was thinking of is it Mr. Biggs, the Isley Brothers? Contagious.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I thought that's what you were talking about. I love
No.
that song, Contagious.
There's some. They said some of that early like '70s funk. It's like some of the best shit ever. Dude. I swear to God, dude. It just got that groove to it, dude. Sissy Boys and Hispanics go do metal. Well, they all did in the '90s.
Yeah, just about. I mean, well, when you look at like Motley Crue when they first started off, they were a little bit harder of a band than what they turned into.
Harder.
I think
They definitely went the
The funny
hairspray.
thing is, you can always take a picture of Slayer and put it against every other band, and Slayer always looks the same.
Supremacy. He is all over you, Mardigan.
I don't know why, man. I
my
provide
God.
him some of the funniest content he's ever seen. My
Oh,
God.
we're still doing that shit. Okay, all right.
Good Lord.
That's awesome.
Work my ass off, man. You know how hard it is learning all these magic tricks and shit?
Oh, it's magic.
Oh, hell no.
Even though
This ain't
that's
Zan-
not rock.
This ain't Xanadu, Jens. Okay.
I know. I was gonna say it's not rock, but like I couldn't really think of a heavy metal thing with magic in. I could have just gone and but magic. But,
Oh, you can. Black Magic Woman. There you go. Well, no. Is
Iron
that
Butterfly. I don't know. Iron Butterfly was more psychedelic.
but yeah, but that's more sort of bluesy. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Rainbow, Deep Purple, Quiet Riot, Dio, Black Sabbath. Oh yeah, they pretty much you spot on there. Those were kind of like
Dude, I loved Rainbow. I loved Ronnie James Dio, man. He had a voice on it.
Yeah, Magic Mountain.
Ricky
Yeah,
Blackmore.
yeah.
Did you?
Now,
have,
you know,
have any of y'all seen the tribute video that Anthrax did for Ronnie James Dio? And
No.
Shit, who I can't remember the other guy, but oh my god, hold on, let me go find it real quick. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
I'm just glad they got him for Pick of Destiny.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it's a good film.
Who did
I
I know?
like it. But
Well,
what about
I seen-
Lenny Kravitz? But he classed as rock because Are You Gonna Go My Way? I thought that was pretty rocking. Not too heavy.
I guess it would be considered rock and roll, but yeah, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be. It wouldn't be metal.
Wait, we talking Lenny?
Yeah, don't forget Judas
Lenny
Priest.
Kravitz.
I mean, Judas Priest was up in that little era too.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Private chat, guys. Private chat.
Like soft sort of rock stuff. Or are you gonna go my way? The solo in Are You Gonna Go My Way? That is like pretty hot, like solo. Is the solo bit in that like is pretty much metal, but the chorus in that it's a bit more rock. But yeah.
Well, I seen I'm Not Creative mentioning Rob Zombie, but I really think that before he just wound up doing Rob Zombie, I thought his music was a little bit better when they were White Zombie.
Right? I'm glad someone else agrees that White Zombie is much better than Rob Zombie.
I think
Agreed.
And that female bass player, Sean Yuslo, that he had with him, she was amazing.
She was good. And it was at that time it was odd to see a woman bass player. You know what I'm saying? It was odd to even see women in bands, period. It was very minimal at that time. And now it's she was kind of like, you like, oh man, this chick's jamming. Live, she's good too.
Now also
their bodies, it's a surprise. They can do anything, but
it's been almost a month ago.
Another
Chris
one.
Chris Knight did a reaction to I believe a kid band called Liliac that did a cover of Ronnie James Dio's Holy Diver.
Oh, nice.
They did an excellent job. I'm talking for a bunch of kids, man. The lead was a young lady, and she could almost nail Dio on point, and it was unreal.
Maybe that was like kind of the same thing because I seen this one where these kids in the school were doing 46 and 2 by Tool, and the girl that was singing, she had to be like 12 or something. And the whole band, it was like all kids. It was like all 12, 13-year-olds on instruments, and the girl fucking perfect. She probably maybe 11 or 12 years old, but she did main part, but she's singing awesome.
This band, man, the bass player alone looked like he was about 11 or 12. And he looked serious.
Talk about good covers, though. If you talk about good covers, Megadeth, No More Mr. Nice Guy. That was a great cover back in the 90s.
There you go. I like Megadeth's Paranoid too.
Mm-hmm. Where do y'all stand on like Godsmack and Stained? Like
I like both.
Yeah, live they're good. I like the live show because whatever band they're with, because the lead singer is also a drummer, so they always put like a drum circle up there. And whatever band, I've seen them do this with Metallica, with fucking, I got to think of a couple other bands they do it. Everybody they're touring with, they get into a big drum circle at the end, and they'll bring the other drummer's band, into this drum circle, and they'll do a drum off. So, I mean, the show is always good. Godsmack's good, but I mean, naming your song after an Alice in Chains, and band after an Alice in Chains song was kind of like an off thing for me. Stained, I love his voice.
Oh, Aaron Lewis. Great voice. I like his country. It leaves something to be desired for the most part. Like it all has like a very, especially like when he first started doing it, Red, Rotten Blue. Like it had a very 90s Garth and Clint. You know what I mean? Like heyday of country music to it. But his cover of Black, love it.
His cover of Black is pretty good.
It's very good.
It kind of reminds me of like Chris Gaines and that whole thing. It's like how these stars like Darius Rucker went from alternative to country. Aaron Lewis went from alternative to country. So I mean, there's no boundaries anymore. I think. I mean, people are just kind of trying. I mean, like you got Florida Georgia Line with Nelly. Everybody's just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna come and sing on your track. By
the way, that's another great version. Outside, standing outside, whatever. Wait, is it? Outside?
It's called Outside, yeah.
Yeah. So the live version, except for fucking Limp Bizkit, what the fuck is his name?
Fred Durst.
Yeah, if he wasn't like, I'm feeling those lighters. This is the real motherfucking deal, y'all. Like, if he wasn't in that fucking song, if we did it live, it would be perfect.
That is a good live kit, though. Yeah,
it is.
A festival or something.
Yeah, it's so much better than the studio, but fucking Fred Durst ruins it It's the real motherfucking deal, y'all. I've listened to it a few times. If you can't
But if
tell.
you listen to even Epiphany, Epiphany is great live.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good album.
Soul Assassin is actually saying if you have no soul if you don't like Johnny Cash cover. Of
Agreed.
I
love
that cover. I think it's great, but I still
All right.
prefer the 9 Inch Nails version.
Yes, yes.
See, I was never a big Cash fan. Actually, I never was.
I was never a big Cash fan either.
I'm getting into it more now than ever before. Like some of it's just like, okay, I got you.
Oh, did you have something, Jens? What were you going to say?
I forgot because I was talking about
more.
Johnny Cash's 9 Inch Nails. Because I was thinking like, I'm not too
I
big
got
on
9 Inch
9 Inch
Nails a couple years ago.
I'm
9 Inch
rather
Nails is
go
cool.
Johnny Cash, but the version he did was pretty good. You know, like I'm not too keen on the song itself. You know, it's not one of my favorite ones that I would, but like the version he did was good. Well, it's Johnny Cash in it. He can like do some good shit.
Rusty Cage by Johnny Cash.
No.
I mean, you know
No,
what?
but-
There's a few bands that did covers, and I prefer the originals to the covers. And then there's a few where I actually prefer the covers to the originals. And one of those was actually going back to Metallica. Would have been "Am I Evil?" I prefer Metallica's version to Diamond Head's version.
Yeah. You know, and I liked Metallica when they did Merciful Fate, where they put all the Merciful Fate songs into like one song.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty good too. James did some of the King Diamond parts. He didn't do the high parts, but he did some of the King Diamond parts.
Oh, by the way, they did a Mission Impossible song too, didn't they? Metallica? I'm
Maybe.
pretty sure they did.
You sure
Well,
we
I
can
know
check
it-
me on
during-
that?
during their lives that they every once in a while they would play the beginning to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly too.
Right.
Hey. Yeah, I think I actually I think that's even how it goes.
Have you guys listened to Airborne? It's kind of like the new AC/DC band from Australia.
Airborne?
Yeah,
Never heard of
Airborne.
'em.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. Catchy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, these guys with all these revival bands, we have like Betty Grant Fleet, who's like the next Rush / Led Zeppelin, then Airborne is like the next AC/DC. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. See, I mean, it looks like things are flipping again. We're coming. 20 years has passed, and now we're going into music that we've had before, but different bands interpreting it.
Yeah, it's being rebooted.
Yep, just like Bell Bottom Jeans.
Well,
Yeah, so
there'll be new stuff coming out. It's just that like it takes time, innit?
Right, I think innovation's
It's like-
kind of come to this block right now, you know, and we're just trying to.
But it's like films. There's always good stuff out there, but it's like
You got to find it.
it's very- yeah.
I think it's an oversaturation of the. I gotta get something to drink. My mouth is fucking me up right now. But like there's just too much out there, and there's so much available in so many different ways. It's hard to it's hard for the cream to rise to the crop, really, right? So a lot of these, right? All these
Especially
like
if you're not going to
unique,
kill babies and drink the Dreamer Chrome.
right? Which I'm on board with. But what I'm saying is that. It can be a little difficult to stand out from the crowd. Well, I'm just saying, they're not my babies.
Well, I mean, everything.
I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Yeah, everything's on shock factor now. It's like, and someone had told me this analogy, like, you know, and it's kind of true how it works today. It's like you got two bands, right? That, you know, one band, you know, say band A plays all their songs perfectly, the show's great, and you know it's always a tight show. And then band B doesn't play their songs as great, and they're not as good. But before they play, they bring a 40-foot dildo on stage. All right.
What?
And which band are you going to remember when you leave? You know what I'm saying? So everything's about the shock value right now. Like,
Well, it
you know,
depends
the
on
first
what they
band
do
was
with
great,
the
but the second band,
Yeah, but Iron Maiden, should I say? They had Eddie, the like skeleton dude,
Yeah.
even though he
yeah,
had skin. Well, yeah.
Early on, most bands had their own kind of mascot,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
but it's all for the clicks
They-
today right now. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it is. It's all for the clicks.
Yep.
So-
Wait,
Yeah, I forget. What the hell was Megadeth's? I don't remember what his was called. He had a name.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was just like the skull with shades on.
Bruce, I'm gonna have to check that out. Like,
The
sorry.
Macho Man shades. I would say the Megadeth. He had like a pair of Macho Man shades that was like bolted onto him.
By the way, Macho Man Randy Savage, he put out a rap album. Oh, you say you want to be the man? Be the man. Yeah, like it's not good, but like,
yeah, brother.
I'm looking up the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack because if they had both Fred Durst and Metallica on that soundtrack, that's the greatest movie soundtrack ever.
Going back to this Macho Man
there.
Randy Savage rap. So I bet you he didn't call Miss Elizabeth a bitch out on it, did he? He didn't refer to Mrs. Elizabeth as my bitch on it.
I'm pretty sure he called out Hogan. He didn't call him the N-word like Booker T, but
yeah, but I'm saying it call out Hogan, but about when he's like chilling with his hose, it's like I'm chilling with my hose and Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, see, I don't see Metallica on 2. Maybe it's 3. Although
now
3
also little piece of
Crow soundtrack. That was a great soundtrack too. I love the Crow.
Oh,
soundtrack.
damn right. The original.
I don't think there was a bad song on that thing.
No, that was great. Every song on that by everybody, because everybody did it specifically for the movie. They wrote a song for the movie.
I love that movie,
but
when you break it
cover.
down, I love that movie. When you break it down, the music fits every scene in the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And you listen to the soundtrack. Oh my god, I love it.
It's just even listening to it behind you, like when he's like going up the window. You know what I'm saying? He's becoming the Crow, and the music's behind him, and it just fucking he looks out the window and just awesome.
Yeah,
the best metal soundtrack ever in the movie.
That's bullshit.
Soundtrack to Conan the Barbarian, because that is
Conan.
Yeah.
Holy crap! If you play that loud, you want to kill a village.
The secret of Seal.
Are
you play the Star Trek theme? Dangling. Or you play the Star Trek monster theme like dan 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 dan.
That
is
was
this
on
real?
The game called Barbarian. If anyone played that game, remember
which one?
Barbarian. It was where it was like Street Fighter, but it was a barbarian where you could chop off your opponent's head and like a little green.
What?
I remember like the original like 8-bit game, like not even 8-bit, like old computer PC game, like back in the day called the Barbarian. Yeah. And then there was like Golden Axe. Golden Axe kind of like took that the next level.
Matt, was basically kind of like Street Fighter. You just fought each other and chopped each other's heads off.
So I found the Joe Pesci rap album. I just wanted to see if I could play like 3 seconds of it.
The Joe Pesci rap album?
Yeah.
Tommy, can I play like a couple seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
Too fast, I talk with class. You don't have to ask. Getting everything by flash and cash.
There you go.
Wow.
That is a real thing.
Static X. There goes another one where they lost an integral member of the band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Static X. Wisconsin Death Trip.
Oh, John Williams. Wait, no.
Yes, that's the one.
Did he do Last of the Mohicans? Yeah. Is that John Williams too?
Worse than 8-bit. It's like 4-bit.
Every time he came over, it'd be dun dun dun, dun and like very good game, like. And
it would make weird noises too. It'd be like
Yeah. And like,
the little creature would laugh. It would kick the severed head and drag the body with him.
And then there was like a Shogun game. Like
you didn't laugh on, man.
You remember the Shogun game that was like this too?
Shogun. Why does that sound familiar?
I don't know what it was named, but it was like you kind of like did the same thing here, but it was like all like samurai instead of barbarian.
The one with the rabbit?
It's really old. Really fucking old.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was called. I forgot what it was called. But it was an old evil favorite, back in the day when these computer games were like this shit,
I still have a lot of these games on the Commodore 64. I still have a Commodore.
Oh yeah, they fucking went perfectly on the Commodore 64.
Steve,
cassette
do you
tape.
have you say on the Commodore 64? Do you still have the original Beachhead?
No, I don't.
Oh, the
Man,
sword
that was
fighting
such
one?
an awesome. No, Beachhead, man. You was a military fighter, and you ran through the fields. You tried to kill guys from across the dock throwing knives, and every time you get hit, he goes, "Medic, I'm hit. You can't hurt me." You know, shit like that,
And
man.
then, Nintendo came in and single-handedly dominated the market for 15 years.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. A friend of mine had a 64, and I just loved playing that shit. Floppy disk and all. I didn't understand none of it, but I knew how to load the games up.
Right, I had all the Nintendo stuff. My cousins had all the Genesis stuff, so we would get together since we had like the complete circle, and we just play Nintendo or Genesis, whichever we wanted.
Yeah, my cousin had a Sega, and I had the Nintendo lockdown. Yeah, I still say that the wrestling games on the 64 will never be topped. I wish they could be.
I remember the original Pro Wrestling in Nintendo. That was awesome.
But like WCW, NWO Revenge, what was it? No Mercy, and oh man,
No
some of those
Mercy,
games.
WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
Well, you
Those
know what?
games-
I think they did when later on when they started getting into the SmackDown versus Raw series of games with THQ. Right before THQ wound up being their license wound up being sold over to Take-Two.
Yeah.
Right before then, THQ, they got really, really good with their wrestling games. They had a ton of shit in there, like all kinds of creative, suites in there where you could do just about anything. I think that was amazing because that actually took the early concepts of those games, like the WCW Revenge and NWO. I mean the WWF No Mercy. It took those games to the next level. But
I've got
after
a
that,
version.
they've been garbage.
I got a version of it either on PS1 or PS2. I don't quite remember exactly. It was one of the Raw games that came out. It actually had the dedication to
Owen Wilson. I mean Owen Hart.
Yeah, Owen Hart. Yeah,
Oh,
because
I
I
don't think
watched that paper. I watched
The
that
Blue
paper
Blazer.
when that shit happened.
Yeah, me too.
And that was back when I was getting into wrestling. It was back in the mid to late 90s. And I saw that shit. I was like, oh my God. And then I had to get the game, man. And it's got the dedication to Owen in it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm never getting rid of this one.
By the way, people sleep on the Dreamcast.
well, the funny thing is, even nowadays, you'd be surprised the amount of people that got into old bands because they listened to soundtracks from Grand Theft Auto or Tony Hawk. You know what I'm saying?
Hell, even Tiger Woods' PGA game had some badass songs in it.
I started looking for this out there shit. Believe it or not, after Guitar Hero 3.
All the 80s songs came back when Vice City came out.
Yeah. Because it had some Metallica on there. It had some, what was his name?
Green Jelly.
Cliffs of Dover, man. What was his name? Eric Johnson. Shit I ain't never heard. Now, I knew Metallica. I know Pat Benatar. I knew Pearl Jam, but there was some other shit that just kept going on there. And I was like, what the hell is this? I love it. I'm talking about even some of the DLC that they offered for the game at the time. Fucking bands that are just escaping my head right now.
It's a hard one to play. Over, it's not easy to play.
No, it's not.
It's easy to play once you know how to play it, but it's not. It's hard to learn.
Like what is it? Dragon Force. Fuck, I can't remember that name of that song.
Through the Fire and Flames, or
yes,
whatever.
Through the Fire. Yeah, that was the last song you played on the game was Through the Fire. I'm like, holy shit, really? You want me to do this? Really? Oh my God. It was, but that's the thing, though. I never used a guitar playing that game. I always used a controller. I was a button masher.
Holy Christ, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, I was a button masher. It was difficult. I could almost master the song on medium, but anything over that was just complicated.
Yeah, Joe Satriani. Okay, Joe Satriani is way better than Dragon Force. I have to agree with that. Joe Satriani he's like the godfather of that thing. You know what I'm saying? He is the man. He's the one that kind of made it popular. He's the first one that really took that to the mainstream. You know, Vi's great too. I love Vi. I love Eric Johnson. I love Billy Sheehan. They're all great.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
The Rocksmith, where you play a real, it's like Guitar Hero, but you play a real guitar instead of like button bashing. And there's Joe Satriani. Yeah, Satriani. Surfing with the Alien. And like, if anyone like knows that song, it's just basically Joe Satriani going crazy off on one because it goes all over the neck in that. And
to be honest, like that's actually one of his easier songs.
Wow.
I mean, like Satch Boogie is way harder. Just, I mean, there's a lot of real hard songs. Yeah.
Oh, well, it could be that one, but it's real hard. It's one of them where he probably can't play it note for note when he plays it. Yeah. He'll play it close to it, obviously, but it's one of them where it's hard to get because I can only do like 50% on it.
Yeah, but
well, you get 34 takes in the studio. You only get one on live.
and sadly enough, I didn't even know who Steve Vai was until David Lee Roth.
Well, Frank Zappa and Steve Vai. Steve Vai was in Frank Zappa's band for a long time.
See, I never knew that. I like I said, I never knew who Steve Vai was until Dave started his solo career, and like Crazy from the Heat, Yankee Rose. I didn't know who the fuck Steve Vai was, but fuck,
that's how I knew Steve Vai. I was like, Frank Zappa's guitarist. Okay, let's do this. that's how I
pretty good guitarist and all.
He's awesome. Steve Vai is great. He's a great guitarist.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I play Evanescence too. I love Evanescence.
I hate to do this because I know we're having a really good conversation, but I'm going to have to round this one down right now.
Yeah. I might be going live with Anthony.
In case you didn't catch why, I'll explain it as soon as we end. But
Cowboys.
Has anybody got anything going on in their channels that they want to talk about their channels? We'll throw it to Stieg first.
No.
Make sure to subscribe to Steve Canode. Go there, look for his top fives, and give him all kinds of thumbs up. Make sure you tell everybody else to subscribe to his channel because once he hits another milestone, he might make another top five.
Or you could spend time with your family and watch.
That's Ricky.
No, that one.
Nothing much going on. I mean, we get a chance since our season's kind of over, and I'm kind of more laid back mode than work mode. I might work on my channel, more on the TikTok channel, on my YouTube channel, but I might be on Dark Gift Comics here in a little bit on Anthony's stream because we do an open mic on Mondays. I haven't got a message yet for it, so I don't know. But in a little bit, if that's going on, I might be playing live here in a second. So if you guys want to listen to some live music and a bunch of idiots play, Dark Gift Comics. That's awesome. Anthony's channel. Comicscape.
If anybody could put that stuff in the chat for me, I greatly appreciate it, and make sure to drop Stieg's link too. Jens, what do you got going on, Jens?
Well, hopefully tomorrow I'll be doing a stream, but I'll be probably doing it earlier and that. And
talking about
yeah, because hopefully I'm going to go see the Shang-Chi movie tomorrow, and so I can stream about the Shang-Chi movie.
Hey, why don't you just go buy you a couple bottles of Mad Dog and just call it a night?
That's what I'm
Mad Dog
about.
2020.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than a movie.
I don't know. I'm about to hit my bottle of moonshine.
There you go.
The Strawberry Kiwi Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Oh, the orange is nice. Oh.
I dropped episode 2 of Magic with Mad. Street Monsters is going to be changing probably a lot starting next month, but you can still find it at 3 p.m. Central Saturday and Wednesday. I got a couple irons in the fire. Working on an animated show, and I'm working on a sitcom. Huh?
Why would you change something that's perfect?
Man, it's just getting hard. Like, we already ran through all of the after school specials except for like the He Touched Me Here and people are racing themselves and stuff. So those aren't quite as fun. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna do some other things. But yeah, I got a couple of cool things that I'm working on in the back. Anyway,
JJ.
What's going on, everybody? Don't even try it, Mardigan. Don't even try
damn
it.
it! I didn't even think about that.
Don't even try it because I don't even use that shit no more. So
Good, I'm gonna use it.
Good. Have at it. What's up, everybody? You'll find me in a little bit here. Our boy Darius Munchausen's he's hit 200 subs in a very short amount of time. He's killing it over on his channel. I'm gonna be over there hang out on his live stream for a little bit. My channel, not much going on. I brought randomness back yesterday, and it's truly going to be random. Pardon me. Not going to schedule it. Not going to announce it. It could be a week, could be a month, could be another 6 months. But it has returned. But it's truly random now. I do a random movie review on Wednesdays. I didn't do it last week, but this week we're doing Band of the Hand. Come by and check that out Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night over on Cal Central. Yeah, go ahead. It's not that funny.
No, I was laughing at this.
I know.
Fucking asshole.
I know. Well, it's Wookiee. What do you want? But Tuesday nights over on Cal Central with Chris Knight and the guys over there for the Cal's List. And whatever Hans got scheduled for Tuesday night, maybe a Name That Tune, maybe a Jackbox Game Night. Who knows? That's at 11 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. But yeah, thanks for letting me come on, Tommy. I know you're in a lot of pain, bro. Personally, I thought you shouldn't have done it, but hey, only you know your limits. But thanks for letting me come on.
I'll wind up paying for it later.
Yeah,
And don't forget to wish him JJ a happy birthday.
Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. But I got enough of that bullshit coming to me tomorrow.
Welcome. Unfortunately, we're just rounded down, but
yeah. Oh yeah. That's my roommate, Dragonfire. I told him we was talking some music. This man is the man to talk to about music. He could probably bring up some stuff that you guys never heard of, or some of you guys love. You never know. But yeah, thanks for letting me come on, Tommy. It's a pleasure as always. Thanks to everybody in the chat for showing up. I appreciate it. Everybody on the panel.
So it's always a pleasure. I want to thank everybody that's been on here today: Stieg, Ensign Ricky, JJ, Mad, and of course Jens, who usually almost always shows up because he loves hanging out with the guinea pigs. He knows where it's at. I bust Jens' balls traditionally on every single show. I did not bust his balls tonight because I think I rode Jens a little bit hard the last two streams, so I wanted to give him a break. And I devoted all my attention to pissing Stephen Walton off the past couple of days. I just did a new meme of him. I just did a new meme of him as a garden gnome on the toilet. And I'm pushing that for Rogue Entertainment to actually make that a reality. So there'd be
you know what?
Toilet sitting gnomes for Walton.
Stephen Walton as a garden gnome, that fits because he makes gnome-made enemas.
Oh
yes, he will be doing coffee eventually. We are pushing for that inside Rogue Entertainment, along with the candles that I've been working on.
I want my fucking coffee, damn it.
Keep bugging them.
Fucking coffee.
Keep bugging them. I'm also working on a short music video. I actually did like a teaser trailer for it a couple days ago. It was a short doing the reversion of the Ministry, New World Order as the Pig World Order, and then I'm going to be doing some other playoffs that as far as the New World Order from WCW as well. So keep an eye out for that. We're actually branching the guinea pigs out to incorporate more names because we just want to be ridiculous like that, because apparently the Guinea Pig Collective and the Guinea Pig Menace just wasn't enough for us. We need to dip in and take everything else too. So thank you all, everybody that's been in the chat: Wookiee Soul Assassin Bone, Curtis YZ, Bruce Lombardo, Dragonfire. God, who else was here tonight? There were so many people. I'm not creative. 22,
chat, but he don't
LDG
care.
was here.
Curtis YZ, Soul Assassin. I already said them. Citizen 333. Yeah, I could keep going on forever. I mean, you all know who you are. I've actually addressed every single one in the chat. I mean, even Trinity from Second Street Marvel, who I usually don't see on my live streams very often, even came through. I appreciate every last one of you came by. It means a lot every time you guys come by and you make this chat go crazy and you set it on fire. And remember, just never let anyone tell you what you can and can't say and what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. And we will catch you next week, 6 p.m. Eastern, same time, same guinea pig channel. And we're going to take you out the same way that we brought you in. Later, y'all.